Okay, Nixacoax, ni Studentanico Kiaitakon. Hello, my name is Joseph Kipp. I'm a fourth generation survivor of the Bear River Massacre. I'm a Blackfeet member. This is our summer pasture. Most of it is owned by the Blackfeet tribe. And my wife and I have been fortunate enough to lease this, have control over it for about 35 years.
When we first moved out here, this was all unfenced. It was overgrazed, short grass, if any, very rocky.
We got this ground years ago from the tribe, and basically it was a non-tribal member who had been running his cows here, and he did own some land east of us, and he had an immense herd, up to 2,000 head, and could quickly consume all the vegetation out here, and this was his wintering grounds. And he wintered a lot of cattle here. They were very rough on the environment.
What we did then is we'd come out with my kids and my dad, he'd help, and we'd push all the strays off, and that's how we dealt with it.
We came along, we enforced a great grazing use of the lands, and ground was pretty poor, and the water was non-existent. There were some real old failed systems out here, water systems. So originally, just to control the trespass grazing, the first agents helped us build perimeter fence.
I'm Megan Heinen. I'm civil engineer with NRCS. I started working with Joe and Kathy about 6 years ago. I was invited by the planner out on this place. Some previous staff and stuff had been working with them on some water systems, and they trying to implement the rotational grazing. They had the cross fences in. They had several water developments in each pasture. But we were finding that the water wasn't keeping up with what the grass could support. So our goal was to help them look at how we could improve water distribution and water quantity if possible, and work towards them being able to completely use their rotational pasture setup in the most effective manner. I mean, the ideal would be to have all the water you need where you want it when you want it.
We showed her what we had, and she came out and she helped plan these things, and we're still working on them. We see one here is going to be filling pretty soon, but we got more to do down there for the other two pastures. And what are they for? You know, it's kind of like emergencies. In a wet year, we don't really need these tanks, even though it's cleaner water. There's less parasite loads in plumbed water. The water's fresher and cooler when it comes here. These cattle will drink out of this before they drink out of the spring over there, because it's colder.
So on this project, we are a long ways from power, and to move water around hilly terrain, various places, and to get it distances far enough away from it where it already is, which is what we needed to do, you need pumps, pipelines, and then the drinking tanks. In this case, without power nearby, we've had to rely on solar pumping capacity, which works well when it's summer pasture, so that was a good fit on this location. The way our solar works is, you know, you have cloudy days, your production isn't always optimum, so we put in at least 3-day storage. And the way this system, because we do have some hills and some elevation, we're able to pump that water up. So when the sun's out, it's doing the work of lifting the water. And then when the sun's not out, we've stored that water as an elevation or as a pressure up the hill. So those storage tanks become our system supply, and they're just replenished by the pump when it can run. In this case, it's gravity feeds 3 tanks on this particular portion, and depending on where he turns the water on, it's going to run there until the float closes and the tank's full. And then it'll just go back to the storage tank and be waiting for the next call for water from a tank.
If you don't have water spread out, you're going to beat the same grass up where the water is, graze that out, and have good stands away from there. But the cattle, especially in July and August, will just stay around those areas, and they create dust, and the dust and close proximity to one another, communicable diseases, flus, influenzas, and pneumonias travel back and forth, all the coronaviruses. And we used to get a lot of sick cattle, baby calves, or spring calves in the fall would be dying of pneumonia, and we'd be doctoring out here all the time. So by moving them onto different pastures, keep the cattle moving so they're not beating up one area. We don't open up that pasturella.
Joe and I, we have been doing the CSP contract, and by doing these extra practices, rotational grazing, the manure samples, the photographs of the grass, the fencing, all this, water development, it's helped us to be able to protect the land in the long run, because we are taking better care of it, and it's very important to keep that land protected. For one thing, you don't see a lot of weeds growing out here because of the care of the land.
We've been working for a long time to try to take care of this ground and the grasses that grow here. Part of my identity is being a steward of the grass too.
I really enjoy coming out here. I'm an outdoors person. I love to be outdoors. I love to work with the cattle, horseback ride. That's the way I grew up, and I just like to see all the different stages of the plant growth, you know. And some of the times when I'm out riding, I will gather plants for medicines.
It's been a pleasure working with Joe and Kathy because they have the mindset of stewardships and land stewards, and it shows in the results that they're seeing. It shows in them deciding to invest and continue with these systems and continue to expand this over to their other pastures. You know, they understand the concepts that are going to be best for the grass, which is best for the cows. You know, if your land is healthy, your animals are healthy, you can be healthy. So it's a great partnership, and I think they are a really great fit with NRCS and with our objectives also.
So that's kind of where we're at now and how we started and why we've done that. And we're still a long ways from completion, but I wouldn't say long ways. I'm going to hopefully say in 2 years we'll be done and have adequate water here. But it gives us really a leg up on the environment to be able to collect this water and disperse it to the cattle as needed.
Well, I believe that the land is native land, and that we need to take care of it because it's, you know, taking care of us.